Rolling.
Hi guys, my name is Mubi. I'm a pottery artist, I'm a homeopathic doctor, I'm an avid reader. I'm planning on being a yogi, so there's a lot more coming to that list. Anyways, today's I'm going to talk about a book that most of you all will be already knowing about. It's a very famous book, and I'm pretty sure that most of you will know which book I'm talking about just from the first line that I'm going to say. Okay, so here goes. In this book, the protagonist turns into a bug. I think almost everyone already knows, but I'm still going to give the synopsis, okay? So, the story follows the protagonist. His name is, I think, wait, I'm not sure what his name was. Guys, I really don't remember what his name was. Okay, Gregor. Gregor, as he turns into a bug and he lives with his family, and there is themes of isolation, there's themes of social class, about how his family starts to see him differently when he becomes less than useful to them. Okay, so these are the main things that I took away from the book. Anyway, I'm going to tell you which book this is, although almost everyone of you already know. So I'm talking about The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. And I had heard a lot about this book before taking it, and about Kafka, of course. We've all been hearing about Kafka for like the past few years. So I think I first picked up the trial and I couldn't get through it for some reason. But then this one, it was an amazingly easy read, and it also really stayed with me. I think because mostly when you read books, you kind of draw a parallel with the story and with your own life at some point, and when it sort of when you can feel that story in your life, that's when the book stays with you at that point in your life, right? So for me, this book really stayed with me because, I don't know, I like the theme where Kafka is trying to say that even though the protagonist, Gregor, was such an important part of the family's life, the moment that he started to be something of a burden, they wanted to make do without him. They felt better without him, right? So I think this is something that really stayed with me, that usually when we are in a relationship or in our family or whatever it is, we try to not do some things because we are always scared of disappointing the other person. We're always scared of what they will think of us, what they will feel, and how hurt they will be, and how they can get over it. So we always put their feelings in front of ours, and I think this is something really dumb we do, and I feel like it's conditioned. It's really conditioned because everybody is going to move on. Like, no matter what decision you're going to take, no matter what you're going to do, everybody will move on from it. It's not permanent. At that moment, it can feel like it's going to be permanent, but it's not. Everybody is going to move on and get on. And to be honest, I think when you make a decision like that, I think it's going to be good for everyone. So in this book, Gregor turns into a big bug, and he had lived his whole life, okay, like a good part of his youth, for his family, earning for them, doing everything for them, while his family, nobody was working, so it was like a middle class family. And he was so miserable in his job. So this is like the first chapter of the book, right, where they're talking about how miserable he is. And still he is deciding to stay in the job because he needs to support his family. They have a loan, they have, financial responsibilities. He has a sister he needs to get married off. And, it's a whole thing. So he had to do the job that he hated. He needed to give away his life for his family. This was the initial theme of the book. And then when he turns into a bug, it sort of changes, right? They start to find new ways to make money. They start to do different things to make money. They stop relying on him, and they become individuals of their own, and they grow as well. So everyone in the book grows and, becomes independent, and they learn how to live, except him, basically, because he's a bug, right? But I really loved that theme in the book a lot. I really loved it. And also, I think Kafka is also talking a lot about isolation from like Gregor's point of view once he turns into a bug, and how alone he is inside the room, and how nobody comes to talk to him, nobody cares about him, everyone's forgot, or they want to forget about him, so he's completely isolated. He's not even alone. It's more of he's lonely, so that was also something for me, like how when they would open the door and he would like look at his family, and it was like a sort of reminder that that was my old life kind of thing. He's speaking into his old life, and that parable was really sentimental and heart touching. So like I said, this book really, really stayed with me. Like after I read it, I needed to go through Google. I needed to see what everyone was saying about it. Sometimes that happens when you read some books, and I really, really loved it. And if you have any other book recommendations you would give me for Kafka, because I would love to read more of his works, because I think it's very, very difficult to find an author like Kafka or Dostoevsky. I don't think I pronounce that right, but it's fine. Like them in the current world, because I feel like they had so much feelings. I feel they were so full of it, which is absolutely beautiful, especially in this time and age, I feel. Because don't remind me. So I think if anybody has any recommendation that would, stay with me similar to Metamorphosis by Kafka, I would really, really appreciate it, because I would love to read some more of these kind of books. But I would also, if someone has not read it, 100% recommend, because it's like a really small book. You will finish it in an afternoon, So, and you will also gain a lot of stuff in that one afternoon, which is amazing. I would say it's a complete winning situation. You cannot go wrong. So, yeah. So that's about it. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.